dating apps are just not working. 34 times more likely to bond with another person in real life compared to online.
What are some of the common myths that you have felt are there with speed dating?
Not everyone is coming to the speed dating even with the intention to find a date. A lot of folks come to maybe find flatmates, maybe find a job. In India, the dating scene is still evolving. It has a long way to go. Raise your hand if you have never kissed anyone. All the best. Someone finding the one, getting married. I was invited as well because I have been played a small role in connecting them.
Have you had situations where, say, someone has asked and the other person has sort of declined publicly?
Someone would say maybe if they mean no. Sometimes people come and say that they found a really good friend, they are still connected, or they can just join the event and walk away with a date. Of men, they don't put any effort. Dating app was going through a phase where both men and women were tired of using it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Decoding with Jaslin. I'm excited to introduce you to today's guest, Saurav Arya. Saurav is a true entrepreneur at heart with a passion for building lifestyle businesses. He's the founder of Small World, a platform creating boutique events and experiences designed to bring people together. If you're looking to make authentic connections, especially through events like speed dating, which I will get into in much detail later, Small World is making it happen. But that's not all. He's also the founder of Workstays and many other small businesses. So, Saurav, I'm really looking forward to decoding your journey, your insights on community building, and your unique perspective on speed dating. A very warm welcome to you. So glad to have you here.
Thank you so much, Jaslin. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Great, Saurav. So I think let's get into what I actually triggered this conversation, right? So, what is the story behind Small World? Because if I look at your journey, you are someone who started Workstays, which is for digital nomads. So it's basically giving you the freedom to go anywhere, and then from there you went on to now establish Small World, which is basically bringing people together. So it seems like a lot happened between them. So unpack that for me.
Yeah, one thing leads to another. I'll tell you a funny story. Smallworld was born in a flight from Delhi to Reykjavik. Okay, it was born in the flight, and I was in a Wow airline. It's a Icelandic airline, and it's a low cost airline. There is no in flight entertainment. Okay, and I had just a paper and a pen to scribble, and that's when I realized I was just thinking about. I was scribbling, and I felt like I would like to do something at the intersection of travel and hospitality, and that's when I realized that, oh, it will be nice to um, start Airbnb, a stay. I have earlier been into Airbnbs, like I had small Airbnbs, but I never thought about a brand around it. So Airbnb, I've been doing since 2013, 2014. The idea for the small world, the first idea, initial idea was to have Airbnbs themed after different countries.
Okay, and what caused the pivot?
So, stay and event has been going on, but I felt post pandemic people wanted more real life experiences. So it was the wave. I could see that people were gravitating towards real life events after maybe too much of being on their own and on devices.
Understood. So you founded this company called Small World, right? And now, from what I understand, the biggest event that Small World conducts is speed dating. And that's what actually triggered this conversation, right? I was like, oh, I really want to understand how speed dating works in a country like India. I've lived abroad and I know speed dating is something outside is very common, right? But in India, it's fairly new concept, I would like to assume. I'm married and I have a kid, so maybe I'm just out of touch with the market, but at least that is my assumption. So walk me through it, sort of why speed dating and give me the story about it.
Yeah, first of all, uh, the reason why we thought of speed dating is because I felt that dating apps are just not working. I could see, and it was not just my feeling, but I also did my research. And what I found is that um, around the world, not just in India, around the world, dating app was going through a phase where both men and women were tired of using it. For men, every swipe like leads to disappointment because all day they will swipe and won't get a match, right? Ask any men and they will tell you about it. And for girls, it's like every swipe is a match, because all the men usually on dating apps, they swipe almost all the profile for girls. And what it was leading was that there were lots of matches for the girls, and they don't know whom to connect with, whom to have a with whom to have the conversation. And for the boys, it was like a disappointment. So I feel like it's better to make people connect in real life. In real life, um, you can get the vibe, you can have a stronger bond. So I get this data is that we are 34 times more likely to bond with another person in real life compared to online, because there are so many things we can know and communicate with. You can see the body language, you get to know a person better, right? So that was the primary intention. I felt like as humans, we are meant to connect. We are social beings, and it makes sense to connect the way our grandparents did. So I felt like it was time to get back.
Okay, so walk me through it, right? How do these events sort of take place? I don't think our grandparents connected with 20 people in one evening, but sure, let's do it.
So
Yeah.
our grandparent had a great social life, as in anything in their life, they will probably they will have a community for it, and they would discuss things with their community. So now, what we are doing in speed dating is it's not like typical speed dating, the Israeli speed dating, where people are sitting across a table and having a formal conversation. In our format, we tweaked it a bit. Our take was that we should design a 2-hour event where everyone gets a chance to connect with others. Even the most introverted one feel like opening up. Okay. So what we do in the 2 hour is that we have several icebreakers like raise your hand, move around. We give them a dare bingo sheet, like a sheet with 25 different dares written on it, which makes them easier to connect with others. And we tell the participants that your goal is just to make at least 3 to 4 new friends. If you're able to do that, that's a good start. So it's not a high pressure setup. People know that everyone is there to socialize, and even if they can make 3 4 good friends, that's great. Everything start with friendship.
So you guys do events within speed dating. You guys play games. Is that how it works? And it's a bit open. Is it anybody can approach anybody?
Exactly, yes. So it's not like we don't want that all the games or all the interactions should be with the opposite gender. uh, Everyone is open to interact with everyone. And what's happening is that not everyone is coming to the speed dating even with the intention to find a date. A lot of folks come to maybe find a flatmate, maybe find a job as well. See, yes. So people know that these are the avenues to connect with others. And people are in different stages of their life. A lot of folks who are new in town, they just want to socialize.
But would that, so if I'm a consumer, right, and I'm coming to an event for speed dating, like actually speed dating, and I meet 4 men and all of them are looking to either make friends or flatmates or jobs, doesn't that disappoint me that I came here to find probably a partner and I'm not finding anything related to that?
Yeah. So what we do is that the first round of speed dating itself is something called move around, where
Okay.
like there are 25 people, and we ask them question and make them move around based on their answer, so that the entire room gets to know what for people are there. For example, let's say people are standing in front of me. I say that move around if you're looking to get married. So those on my right hand side, they have moved to the yes part. So you as a participant know that, oh, only these are the guys who are looking to get married. These are the guys. Yeah. So we tell people initially itself is that people are here for with the like different use case, and uh, you got to be open to that.
Understood. What were like the initial challenges you faced in sort of setting this up?
See, I feel in India the dating scene is still evolving. It has a long way to go. Uh, when it comes to the word speed dating, a lot of folks it repels them. They say, "Oh, I don't want to go for speed dating." They feel like don't take it in a it has a negative connotation a bit. So that was a hurdle, uh, because a lot of men they came with the intention that, oh, going to a speed dating means that I'm walking out with a date. It's not like you're walking out with a date. It's a platform where you may find people your type, right? So just making it clear what it is and what it is not was a challenge. I would say still it's a challenge in some of the cities because the culture is evolving. Also, I see that when it comes to Indian cities, not all the cities are on the same plane. A lot of cities had I would say, because of the strong cultural identity, we had a lot of backlashes. In cities like Indore and Coimbatore, um, I feel like still it's tough to host a speed dating, um, because of certain cultural factors. Like it's tougher compared to cities like Bangalore, Mumbai, and Delhi.
Okay. Why do you think there is a negative connotation to speed dating?
It's because it's not been discussed much. It's like for some cultural reasons, it's like people feel like they probably a lot of folks they are okay with the concept, but they would not like to openly accept that they like the whole idea of speed dating. They feel like, oh, maybe it doesn't go with our culture. That's
Okay, so because these days most people are on all these apps, right? So that's where I'm wondering the disconnect. But okay, that makes sense. So you're like, okay, they're like, okay, in the apps nobody gets to know, but when I go for an event, I'm publicly declaring
yes.
my support.
Yeah, a lot of folks they come in the event and they say that fine, I'm joining, but please make sure that I'm not there on social media because I do not want people to know that I'm in my dating phase. You know.
I mean, I get that, right? I mean, in India, I don't know how many people sort of actually tell their parents if they're dating or are public about the fact that they're dating unless it has reached the stage of marriage. I think till then everybody likes to be hush about it. If they decide to marry, sure.
I'll tell you a small incident. Yes, also it's like this is something that need to be discussed more. We had a teacher joining the event, and he was quite a known teacher in India. So he had many students. And he joined the speed dating, and he was there on one of our reel, and his students started trolling in the comment section that, "Oh sir, how are you? And I saw you there," etc. So he felt that, oh, my students should not get to know that I'm part of speed dating, right? So at times, we in India, it's important for us to ensure that our professional life, personal life are well segregated.
I think that I would sort of get, especially if I'm a teacher, right? I don't think I would want my students to know what my dating life looks like. I think, but yeah, I'm sure that then makes it a bit um challenging for you to navigate, right? Especially in today's world, if you don't put on enough stuff on social media, how would people get to know? But you have to like kind of find the right balance. So
Yes.
how did you actually? Yeah, go
Yeah,
for
we
it.
take
Sorry.
care of that. I know that certain people have certain apprehensions, and we make sure that they are not covered for any content.
Understood. And so you had this challenge that people had this negative connotation of speed dating. How did you go about it?
To the whole idea about setting the context, um, has been about like making stories. sharing stories with the people, uh, busting the myth around it. You know, so it's all through content.
What are some of the common myths that you have felt are there with speed dating?
The most common one is people feel that they can just join the event and walk away with a date.
Okay.
Uh, People have done it, but uh, do not
It's not necessary.
do not come with the event with that assumption. You know, in order to walk away with a date, first, you have to be good with very good with the social skills, and you should have the courage to shoot your shot. Like at the end of the event, everyone gets a chance to shoot their shot. Like, yeah, I really love your smile or the conversation we had. I'd love to take you out for a coffee date. You know?
Right.
So yeah.
Understood. And walk me through like a normal event, like how do the event sort of pans out? Like the speed dating event.
Sure. People join in once they are there. Once they are there, we make small circles. Small circles is where everyone can introduce themselves. We want some level of familiarity.
And typically, how many people join, say, one event?
We try to limit it to around 20-25 folks. That's a good batch.
Okay. And you make small circles of how many?
Like 4-5 people, small circles. Like 4-5 small circles, and in which everyone introduces themselves so that there's some level of familiarity in the smaller groups. Then we start with our icebreakers. The first icebreaker is move around that I told you about, where you are moving around based on your preferences. And we ask normal questions to a lot of spicy questions as well. Some questions could be um, move around um, if you have made love under the open sky. So it just gives people an idea about what are the type of in the crowd. Yes. So that is one round. Then the second round we do is raise your hand. Okay. So we ask questions like raise your hand if you have never kissed anyone. And we always have kiss virgins, some kiss virgins in the house. So if a kiss virgin raises their hand, we tell them all the best. Maybe today is the day. So right people for being open, being courageous. Then we have the Dare Bingo round. Dare Bingo, you can say, is the main round where everyone gets a sheet with different dares written on it. Dares could be something like, like it's a small micro dares, like share something like share your favorite cuisine, you know, with the other person. So the idea is that through these dares, you are opening up and letting other person know about you so that you can find the commonalities, and it leads to some connections. And after that, at times we have a compliment circle. And I feel like compliment is something that not everyone gets, especially men are they're they're thirsty for compliments. Women, they get compliments all the time. Men hardly get compliment. So it makes their day so when in the compliment circle someone compliments. Compliment.
So do you make sure that the opposite gender is complimenting or something like that?
Yes.
Okay.
So we make two concentric circle, like inner circle of all the girls, outer circle of all the boys. So you have to look into each other's eyes and give a compliment, take a compliment, and then move. So I see that that
So you walk around complimenting every person of the opposite gender
right.
uh, in
So
in that.
it's a
Okay,
concentric
that's
circle. So people face each other, they compliment, and then move. So I see that it gives everyone a validation that is required. It feels good to know to hear compliments. So yeah, that works well. After that, we have the last round, which is shoot your shot. You know, we give some social time for people to interact, and then shoot your shot is where people can get in the spotlight and either ask someone out or make a plan. Like that.
so this happens publicly in front of like all these people.
Right. So it makes a huge deal when someone says it publicly, right? Because it's easy for people to just do one to one. But if I'm on the spotlight, and out of all the people, I'm asking you to join me on the stage. You know that this guy is choosing me amongst all. So he's kind of not playing around, he's serious about it.
Would people do that on the first date? It could also throw me off, right? Because I would be like, oh, I just met him for like 10 minutes. Why is he, overdoing it?
Right. So mostly people, they do not uh make like a grand plan or say that let's go for a date, but they say that I'll just say that, oh, we just had a lovely conversation. I would love to stay in touch. Let's connect on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. All right. Okay. But that's interesting. So, how did you feel like, so in India, I would like to assume people are not open about a lot of these things publicly, right? Privately, yeah, within your circle of friends, you're very open, but publicly. So, for example, when you spoke about the move around, which happens fairly early on, do you feel it's difficult to get people to move? Especially you spoke about like spicy questions around, say, kissing or making love. Are those questions people like honestly answer, or you feel there's a lot of apprehension around exposing themselves almost?
So we often have to read the crowd and play by the ear. You know?
Okay.
So it depends. So we see how the crowd is like and how the crowd is responding. We had even spicier questions. If we see the crowd is ready for it. So
Right.
it's like jamming with the crowd.
So I'm going to assume a crowd in like a Bangalore versus a crowd in Coimbatore or in Indore is going to have quite a lot of difference.
Absolutely.
Have you seen? Okay, so can you tell me like what are the regional differences you have noticed overall?
In India, I see Bangalore has been quite progressive, and Bangalore has been a city where you will. It's a good cosmopolitan city, and because the folks here are coming from different cities and living alone, they are more open to connect with others, and they're more open to take up such spicy questions. You know, so they
What about cities like Hyderabad, Delhi, Pune, Mumbai?
Yeah, it all depends on what kind of crowd has come on that time. But normally we have seen that uh, we would rather use the spicy question in uh, in the crowd which is more comfortable, and often that happens in Bangalore. Mumbai, Delhi, of course, yes, there as well, because there the culture is slightly, you can say, progressive. You know, so yes, it all depends on the crowd, and Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi, we would have different questions compared to Indore and Coimbatore. That is for sure.
And how do you navigate like these regional differences?
So we make sure that the hosts are aware of it. Hosts are mindful. Hosts are reading the crowd. No, so we, uh, to start with, we let people know what the event is, what it is not, what to expect, why we are doing it, and it's, as I said, like it's like a performance. So you ask the crowd, you see what they're up to. We don't want to offend anyone. you know but once we see that the crowd is ready, we can ask certain questions, because the whole idea is that we want everyone in the crowd to get to know each other.
Have you had situations when people got offended and became dramatic?
uh, yes, at time it does happen that out of the crowd of 20-25 people, one would say that, oh, why did you say that, or how could you ask that question? And then we will have a conversation around it, that what's wrong in asking the question. Every question should be taken for what it is, and you should be able to answer why you got offended. It's more about curiosity. We ask them what's the reason behind. There must be, and something will uncover.
Interesting. The other factor that comes to my mind about speed dating is safety, I think, or fraud and things like that, right? How do you cater to that? Do you cater to that at all? Safety, I think you have to sort of cater to.
Yes,
Fraud, I'm not so sure.
yes, of course. We first thing what we do is that everyone who joins for the speed dating, we have their contact details. We get their Instagram and phone number just in case uh, something happens that we have to report to the authorities. We should be able to, you know, we check we check the photo ID of all the folks who join the event, so that we know that they are coming with a valid photo ID. One should not the speed dating is a age specific event. We want it for the age group of 21 to 35, and
21 to 35. Okay.
we want that people who are joining there, they have uh, ID cards, and we want some kind of social proof, like they have to share their Instagram or LinkedIn in order to join the event. It's not like we are revealing it, but just for safety purpose, we should know about it. Second, we let people know that we have a right to admission. So in case if we see someone is not a good influence, or is, let's say, drunk or not in the best of his mood, or if we feel like something's wrong about that person, we can ask that person to leave. We are happy to refund them. But yes, we want to ensure that we have some kind of a control over the crowd, and there should be a right to admission. This has helped. At times, we have been into a situation where we have to ask someone that, sir, with all due respect, we feel like we cannot accommodate you in this event.
What happened there?
At times, it does happen that someone comes drunk and not in complete control of his senses, let's say.
Understood. What is like the typical split between men and women who come?
So usually if it's a batch size of 20 to 25, we try our best that we have around, let's say if we have 60-70% male, then 30-40% female should be there. So it's, as I said, that because it's not like a typical Israeli speed dating where people are sitting across the table. Doesn't matter if the gender ratio is not 1:1, because in our format everyone gets to interact with everyone. And even if they're, like, let's say 15 men and 7-8 girls, all everyone joining the event will get a chance to interact with everyone, and has a fair chance to, make yourself kind of known to others through all the rounds of icebreakers we have.
Got it. Now, at least listening like to the demographic mix plus the rounds of events, I feel like extroverts may have a higher chance, but you mentioned that you try to take care of introverts as well. How do you do that?
Yes, that's actually right. That we see introverts definitely have a higher chance. They are more open to reach out to others and have a
Extroverts.
yes. So uh, we have noticed that a lot of folks who are uh, kind of still learning social skills, they will come to an event and they will just observe. Couple of events they will observe before they learn from others and then start making moves. You know, so it's like I would say that, of course, some introverts take time, but our questions are designed in a way that even introverts, they have something to do. We don't want them to just stand there and observe. And also, our volunteers and organizing team, we reach out to them. We reach out to them, and um, we try to be as inclusive as possible. We help them out.
Got it. How many volunteers do you typically have for an event?
In an event, we will have 3 to 4.
Okay, so 3 to 4 for around 20 to 25 people. And so do you see repeat customers often?
Yes, yes, yes. In fact, some we what I have noticed, there are lots of stories. Some folks, they are in the phase of where they're looking to find the one, and they want to find the one in real life. They don't want to use Shadi.com, Bumble, or any apps. So they are happy to come just to see if they can find someone like them, and they're happy to come again and again.
Okay, and have you actually witnessed any story like that?
Yeah, absolutely. We saw someone finding the one, getting married. I was invited as well because they felt like who I have been played a small role in connecting them. And so yeah, it was it happens. But I would say more people, those who join our events, are not looking to find the one. They are just looking to find connections. They're more towards a Gen Z side in their I would say under 25, and they are more looking to make friends or find a date.
or just date? Do you feel more people who are coming to these events are looking for flings rather than even dates?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, I do see that people are there just to uh, make connections, find friends. They are there to feel better about themselves. They are there just to get some compliments. That's it. After a 9 to 5, you are tired and you want a little bit of love.
So, does that sort of play as a negative thing for you? Because sometimes flings are not very fulfilling as well, right? They're not long lasting connections. They are, you know, a temporary connection or whatever you may call it.
So I would disagree with that. I see that it's good to be in your exploratory phase. I feel that in your 20s nowadays, if you see all the Gen Z, they see connections and dates as an opportunity to learn. They would often uh, date someone with whom they have things to learn, and if they outgrow that person, maybe they'll look for someone else. But I feel like it's good to connect with different people, learn from them, and probably once you feel that you are ready to settle for one, you can.
I think that makes sense because yeah, you're right. I mean, even to get married, it's not like you meet someone and then get married right off. You need to sort of connect with many people to even like find someone who probably could be, a good match. And it's important to understand what you like and what you don't like. So that makes sense. And yeah, I'm sure in today's world, I think it's become all the more sort of common, right? And when you see like has there been situations where say you have this what is the last event you said? Shoot
Yeah.
shoot your shot. Have you had events, situations where say someone has asked and the other person has sort of declined publicly? That happens all the time, it looks like.
No, it doesn't happen all the time because normally people want to be look a bit kinder. So it often happens that someone would say maybe if they mean no, they say that okay, let's talk about it. Yes, so I have seen that here the culture is not to say upfrontly no, but maybe maybe sounds kinder than no.
How often does that happen?
I would say that often. Normally, boys get in the spotlight. They ask a girl out. A girl would either say a yes or a maybe. Very rarely a girl would say no because the girl want to be kind to someone who has chosen her amongst all the folks standing over there.
And have there been situations where people have like, I don't know, gotten emotional in front of you guys?
So, see, yes. So, this shoot your shot is like a reality show, So, we often make reels and content around it. So yes, there has been all kind of a situation, and it's
Give me some interesting examples.
so yes, a lot of times someone will be extremely dramatic and get a rose and propose someone with with the rose. So all those things happens. Um, yeah, they
Interesting.
doings, yeah.
Oh, okay. And what are like the weird things that you have noticed, in these events? Oh, people do it like this also. Maybe for you, like, which you felt were rather learnings or interesting observations or things like that.
So I have seen that it often happens that if someone is having a bad day at work or just had a breakup, they are more likely to come for the speed dating because it's like, oh, uh, get laid. Yeah, let me get laid or let me find some validation, some love. So yes. Also, I feel like we are catering to Gen Z who have, I would say that mental health is a big deal for them, and even some feedback from their seniors, uh, they take it extremely personally, and that makes them question themselves. They get anxious, and they would come to events like speed dating just for validation purpose.
And have you had situations where you have had to like coach people, or because such people can also be like quite low, or even like, you know, be more prone to actually, I don't know if making a mistake is the right word, but be more, they may be more prone to just being more emotional, or you know, yeah, being more vulnerable. Have you had situations where you have had to coach or mentor people, or
It's
sort of manage?
You can say it's a low-key counseling where when you see someone in the crowd and you ask them a question, they open up. So our volunteers are asked that if you see something unusual, or if you feel that someone is someone needs to be checked, please don't hesitate. Go reach out to them and at least ask a question that how can I help you, or would you like to share something? At times, just people opening up and sharing, that itself helps them. If they say that, oh, I just had a breakup, or I had a bad day, my manager shouted at me.
And what do you do like in such instances? Do you actually sit with them and like do a low key counseling, or
So no, we are not like a trained counselor. We can just ask question, and uh, yeah, at times we tell them that if we know the crowd, that who is who. So at times we just suggest them that maybe you should connect with that person, and for this reason. So we are there just to be the connectors. We ask them question that, is there anyone you would like to know more about? We are happy to be your wingman.
right? And so how long have you been doing speed dating events now?
It's been 4 years almost.
4 years. And you said that you do every weekend in all the major cities. And I think once in a month or once in a quarter, depending on the tier two cities. Which was your first city 4 years back?
Bangalore.
Bangalore. And what caused, like, so you started Small World to like connect people, but what caused speed dating specifically?
Yeah, so I saw a graph which was about how dating apps are failing us. That's been the trigger. Seeing that it's mostly the top 10% of the people getting all the matches. It's not democratized, and that made me feel that we need something in real life.
So with that, you started one event in Bangalore. And then how did you go about expanding?
Yeah, so I felt like it's not a problem specific to a city. It's a global issue, and pan India, we got to come up with an alternative to dating apps.
I mean, it's really nice, but and when you got into like speed dating, you would have had certain perceptions. Are there certain perceptions that have been broken and you have realized maybe this doesn't work, this is what works, and things like that?
Yeah, so we keep on changing. We iterated. There has been icebreakers that's been there initially, but we felt like, oh, that's not working. We look at every minute details of it. Also, something works in certain cities, and certain cities something doesn't work.
Can you give me some examples?
Oh yes, like I said, that spicy questions works really well in Bangalore. Like people smiled over that. Like if we ask question like, oh, um, raise your hand if you have been part of a threesome. So raise your hand if that's there in your list. These kind of questions we would not ask in the smaller cities at all. They would make them question. And see, if we know that in the crowd very likely no one has been through it, we would not like to ask that question because that will make people question and a bit, maybe a bit uncomfortable. Yes, so these are mostly questions. Knowing what to ask in which crowd uh, has been a learning.
A learning, you would say. And how did you actually go about like getting people for the event?
Also, these are listed on major ticketing platform. People discover it through socials, and they can buy the ticket.
So what platforms like Book My Show and things like that? Or
Book my show now. Swiggy and Zomato is also in the event scene. Yeah.
so you have them listed all over and you promote it on socials. Have so when you did the first event, how many people and how has the growth been?
So yeah, initially we started from Bangalore. Um, Bangalore always got a good reception, but now we have increased the frequency, number of events, and number of cities. Uh, so yes, we aim to have at least 20 folks in a batch. We want to limit it because that leads to the better outcome, the batch size. Yeah.
And what have you like? Have you also seen situations where people get like jobs or have become like really good friends? You mentioned marriage, but other than
Yeah. So, so I guess, see, a lot of times we don't get to know about the outcome because it's just a platform. In real life, not everyone comes and shares. We have to ask, or we just discover, you know. So, but yes, there has been a situation like I told you about marriage. Sometimes people come and say that they found a really good friend, they're still connected, or they found a flatmate, you know. Uh, we encourage people to also share if they are looking for a job. Uh, so I'm pretty sure that people would have found some kind of internship or a job through this as well.
and typically if someone is joining or has enrolled in your event, right? Do you also share like okay, do's and don'ts, or this is the best way you can be prepared for the event?
Yes, some do's and don'ts are important. We let them know that we have right to admission, and we also let them know that, if we are doing a dare, please ask for consent. Some dares might not be okay for the other person to do with you, right? So yes, do ask for consent.
So you have those lists shared upfront or
At the start of the event itself, we tell them what it is not, and why we are doing it, so that we set the context. It does happen that some people come with a different mindset. Some people feel that they are entitled to walk away with a date, so that is not the case.
have people got pissed off at you that oh, I didn't get a date?
Of course, yes. It does happen. We see, we get a, I would not say that all the people are homogeneous. Like, we get people from different backgrounds. If someone is joining from, let's say, people join from different social backgrounds, like they had different upbringings and they will have different opinions about the whole idea of the speed dating. And as we were talking about, people have different social skills. Some are more skilled to make a first impression, some are introverted. So yes, it has happened that some people, they ask us, they DM us a question that, hey, if I'm coming to speed dating, can you guarantee that I will get a date? I say that, no, right, we can't guarantee that. You will have to make the impression, you will have to ensure that you make at least few friends. And we try to educate them that, you know, maybe the fairer gender takes more time in order to make a decision, like going out on a date or calling you a date or a partner, right? But please try to be friends first. Don't try to, if you come out as a very needy person, that would not be a good impression.
That's true. That's why I asked when you said about shoot your shot. I think if I was in a speed dating event, I could potentially get very turned off. Oh my god, I just met this person. Why is he being over dramatic? But I think, like you said, those asking for a coffee or keeping something a little bit.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
that's how it goes. Most of the time, shoot a shot is just about complimenting the other person and just letting your intent be there, that I'm looking for you to be my friend. That's what I'm looking at. So far, it has not happened that in shoot your shot, someone will propose someone to get married. Like people know.
even like for a date, right? Seems a bit much after like. So how long are your events typically?
It's a 2 hour event.
It's a 2 hour event. And is there food and drinks or anything alongside, or how does?
Yeah, so there are a lot of these events happens at a resto bar. So F&B is there, and also just after the event, we encourage people to make some plan. Like now that people in 2 hours, you must have made some connection. So you can decide whether you want to go for a pub crawl, whether you want to go for a group dinner, whether you want to be part of a jamming session.
Got it, sort of. And how do you guys like disconnect, right? Because I'm sure even you and your volunteers get pretty, personally involved with many of them, because you are discussing things which, at least in the Indian environment, is not spoken about publicly. And you mentioned there are times when people have opened up that I'm not having a good day, or I'm just broken up and I'm heartbroken and things like that, right? How do you sort of also maintain that disconnect of, okay, at the end of the day, this is a job, and even for your volunteers to sort of not get more personally involved, or do you actually go the other way? Do you become really good friends with your clients? How do you sort of manage that?
Um, I would say that for the team, it's like they take it as a play, not work. Like most of the folks who are working with Small World, it's more than a work for them. They are driven by the mission. They have the why very clear, and because of that, it comes very naturally for them to be the wingmen, to be the friends with our speed dating participants, right? So and I think that that approach has worked for us, right? So we ensure that all the team members are volunteers, are driven. They are doing not just to make some extra bucks, but they are doing because they see this as a problem that needs to be solved.
Okay. And sort of what are the kind of people who you think are most successful in speed dating?
Someone who comes with an open mind, someone who reaches out to others, exchange contacts. Like, we want people to connect on one of the, either exchange phone numbers or connect on LinkedIn, Instagram, Snapchat, whichever platform you're comfortable with. Because speed dating is just, it's just a 2 hour event where you're making connection, and you have to make plans after that in order to get to know each other well, right? Like we were discussing, that it's not like you find a date, but you just find a connection, and maybe after 3 4 interaction, you'll have a more clarity about whether the other person is your type or not.
Do you share some information upfront, like if I've enrolled for a speed dating event, do I get to know anything about the rest of the crowd before the event?
No, so we do not share information about each other, but we have all things in place to make sure people connect on that level. They get to know. For
Like,
example, in the raise your hand around itself, we ask that, hey, raise your hand if you are a pet lover. So you get to know that who are pet lovers. Raise your hand if you have let's say, traveled to more than 10 countries. So that kind of let people know.
and has anybody come and told you that, or your volunteers, does that happen that they come and ask you, can you ask this question, or can you ask this question? Like, say I'm a vegan, can you ask if there are vegans, because that's a match that I would want to work for.
Absolutely, yes. So we in raise your hand section at the end, we ask crowd to ask a question. So we do exactly that. So we tell them that any of you have a question that you would like to ask. Because yes, people are looking to at times connect with someone very specific. and that kind of helps. We want to keep it open.
Between managing between the cities, right? How did you actually start with it? You just like went about hiring people online, or how do you make sure that your ethos as an individual, or your mission when you started this, right, which is to connect people at the very core, right? But also keeping its purity, right? Because especially in a place like India, I feel it's very easy for such events to then go the other way around. Like you could have people who are looking for flings. I don't know if prostitution is something that you have come across, but I'm assuming that is a potential problem where people could actually be coming to sort of get paid and get laid, right? So how are those? How do you navigate those challenges?
So yeah, first of all, we are picky about whom to hire, and we let our team know that what mission we are after. We want to connect people without being judgmental. We tell them that we are a platform. We share with them do's and don'ts. And it's a remote team, so it's important to always keep communicating to make sure that everyone is in sync, everyone is on the same page. So it's all about having a guidebook, sharing your whys, keep communicating, share with each other what has worked in one place, what other cities can learn from other cities, things like that. So host has to be on the same page for it.
And have you had situations where, say, escorts or prostitution or anything like that has come about?
It might be, but we have not came across it. Like it has not been a situation where someone came and revealed, you know.
Understood. And when you said people share their socials, right? Before that. So what do you guys look for in the socials?
So we just see that if the mm, uh, account is there, it doesn't matter whether it's a public or a private account, but we try to see if it's there, and we get some idea about that person. And more important than social is that we see if there is a valid photo ID or not. So we do not allow anyone to enter in the event without a valid photo ID.
So valid photo IDs must. Do you bother anything about any professional or educational thing? No. It's only the
No,
valid photo ID.
right. At times, it does happen that if you're hosting exclusive speed dating, which is invite only, so in then
Okay.
we can have a few more questions in order to qualify guests for that event.
What are invite only speed dating
For
speed
example,
dating
let's say if
events?
you are hosting exclusive speed dating event in Goa, it's a scenic speed dating. There, we would want the people who are joining. We want to just maybe get to know them a bit more. So we ask them questions. Sometimes we get on a call to get to know, right? So because those are not like a regular speed dating which happens every month. Those are once in a month or once in a quarter kind of event. We want to make it exclusive, so we let people know that these are n- the folks who have been thoroughly checked. Like we have kind of interviewed them and qualified them for the event.
How do you qualify people for such events?
It's mostly asking them questions, getting to know their why, understanding who they are, speaking to them over phone, give us some idea, you know, and also checking their socials. We
What are you looking for when for such people, like when you conduct invite only? What
uh,
kind of people?
yeah, so we at least we want to know that what's their why, whether they're looking for a date or whether they are looking for finding the one. So we just want that what we look for is that someone who is really looking forward to it. It's uh, we see that if it's their desire to be part of it, if they have joined our previous event, that's a plus because they have been through the event and they know what to expect. You know.
And between men and women, right? Have you noticed differences between them, like in terms of how they handle it and what works out and what doesn't?
Absolutely, yes. So I would say that still in Indian society, of course, men are more needy and uh, they would they are just probably they don't have lots of you can say that. things that they're looking for. Probably they're open to be connected with more people. They are not particular. Women, on the other hand, depending on which phase of life they are in, they are more particular about what kind of men they are looking to connect with, right?
So how do you navigate these differences? What if like a group has a lot of women who are more say looking for a permanent relationship, and your men have all turned up for a part time or a a temporary connection? Have you had situations like that where there's like a full mismatch?
Oh, so in the batch of 20-25 people, often I have seen that there has not been a mismatch, as in it's not heavily skewed. In any city, if someone is joining, I would say that the desires are not based on the gender. It's more about the age group. Like uh, in city like Bangalore, if let's say under 25 are more desired towards flings, it will have kind of a equal spread across both the genders. You know, so the
How do you make sure the demographic split is then equal? Because if most men say are less than 25, and suppose your women who have enrolled are 30.
okay, so no, so we have two speed datings. One is 21 to 35, and other one is 35 plus. 35 plus is a different event. 21 to 35, we do not uh, do anything to ensure that we have more people under 25 or anything like that. We are open.
75% is below 25,
Yeah.
is what you have
Yeah,
noticed.
yeah.
So you would say the percentage of people who are coming for later life connections are lesser compared to say
Right. So,
Gen Z, I
yes,
think.
at times what happens is that even those who are 30, 31, they would come for speed dating 35 plus, because they know that coming for speed dating 35 plus means looking for connecting with people who are looking to find the one, or who are looking to find a companion or a partner rather than a fling.
So they can actually come and tell you if someone is even 30 or 28, they can come and tell you that we would want to join
Yeah.
the 35
Yes,
plus.
so these are we allow even under 35 to come for 35 plus event, but we don't allow over 35 to come for 21-35 event.
I was about to ask that. How do you handle that?
Check the
Because
photo ID, we see.
okay, understood. Because I'm going to assume that a 40-year-old single man would be very interested in a 20-year-old female.
It's a happen, yeah, yeah, and we have seen it often um, disturbs the whole event, so we are uh, particular about that.
Give me some interesting stories from these events that stand out.
See, I'll tell you some of the things that I guess being in India you would already know about. See, at times also what happens is a lot of men, they don't put any effort. They show up uh, in PJs, or they'll show up without. And it's sometimes it has happened that they have showed up even in shorts, being too casual about it, and it puts off ladies who have put hours of effort to dress up for the event. And we respect that, and we can't allow someone who has not put any effort to join the event. We tell them that, sir, maybe you should join next time, or we just candidly tell them that you're not dressed for the occasion. It's a disrespect to someone who has put so much of effort. At least we have some rules that at least you should be wearing a shoes. Not all the footwears are allowed. So it has happened that people take it too casually. They show up, and we have to turn them down. At often we are hosting events at places where there are such rules. Most of the resto bars have this rule that you can't um, wear sleepers and get in. So these things happens. Also, you know, we have seen people connecting in our event. They found probably a fling. Then for some reason they separated, and then they came again. So so that's at times has been a situation where um, it's I can see the tension between them, because it's like the exes have joined together in the event. So yeah.
How do you navigate that?
Yeah, we just have to be watchful that they don't end up fighting. So we just let the volunteers know that keep an eye on them. They should not uh have fights, and that's about it. We let them know about their past. We tell them that, oh, they have joined it previously.
Have you had instances which have like totally shocked you? Like, oh my God, this is not what I thought I'm getting into.
Yeah, so at times it has happened that we were hosting speed dating event during Valentine's Day, and as you know, in India during Valentine's Day, some organizations are more active than others. Like, we had,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
I remember.
yes,
When I was a kid, I remember like I used to be scared. Like, so my dad was in the army and we would like travel a lot and even like to go. So we had a group of both boys and girls, and we would go cycling for tuitions. And on Valentine's Day, we wouldn't do that because we're so scared that some organization will come up and they'll make us tie Rakis or I don't know what not. So you are like, okay, on Valentine's Day, men separate, women whether you're dating or not doesn't matter. Just stay away, sort of.
right.
So yeah, you were talking. Yeah.
Yeah, that happened. We were asked to not do the event because it's we were told that, oh, this is not our culture, and I had to kind of I mean I tried to explain our situation, but I felt like, oh, reasoning would not help. It's okay to just
So have you cancelled events because of this?
yes, we had to cancel certain events sometimes just because of such.
Which cities normally you have noticed this?
Oh, so it happened in Indore, happened in Coimbatore. In bigger cities, it's not been an issue so far.
Okay. What are the cities you have totally worked? Can you list out the cities?
Yeah,
Where all
go to, we have hosted uh, our events in even smaller cities like in Patna, Lucknow, Jamshedpur, Coimbatore, Madurai, Mysore, Chandigarh, Jaipur. So tier two cities also we have hosted our events.
and tier one, all the cities, I think Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mumbai. Interesting. So I think Saurav, we are almost about to close. Before closing, is there anything for our audience, say tips or tricks that you would want to give to men and women if they want to join your event, and what could make them successful in actually maybe landing a date or a connection or something?
Right. See, what I would say is that still it's a long way to go when it comes to dating culture in India, and I would just tell people to give it a chance. Like if you have never joined a in real life speed dating event, give it a chance. It's not for people who are looking to find the one or a date. It's also for people who just want to make new friends. If you're new in a town, if you just want to socialize, give it a chance. Maybe you'll, if not a date, maybe you'll find a good friend. Maybe you'll find a job, a flatmate, and or some new stories.
Interesting. Thank you so much, Saurav, for your time. I had a great time chatting with you and just learning, what is going on in the industry. So it was really good to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time. And for the audience, I think we will link up Saurav's socials and Small World socials in the description. So please go ahead and check it out. And hopefully, this conversation helps everybody watching get some real connections. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Saurav.
I totally enjoyed it.
If you're enjoying Decoding with Jaslin, please consider subscribing to the channel. It makes a huge difference in helping us to bring you the kind of guests that you would like to see. We would also love to hear your opinions in terms of the topics and content you would be interested. So please drop in your comments to share your feedback. Thank you for giving us your time.